Hey everybody, and welcome to the Friday wrap-up on Streamline Solopreneur, a short episode where I cover 3 things: what's on my mind this week, recommended reading, and something fun. This is the show that helps overwhelmed coaches, consultants, and service providers build systems so their business doesn't depend on them. Hopefully this week's curation will get you thinking about your own systems before you close your laptop for the weekend. I'm your host, Joe Casabona, and here's what's on my mind for August 14th, 2026. Am I wrong about AI-generated YouTube thumbnails? You likely know how I feel about using AI for creative work. I don't like it. I fear too many business owners, including myself at times, suffer from AI brain rot from relying too much on it for certain tasks. For a while now, one of those tasks was creating YouTube thumbnails. I worry they don't look real, and some I've seen look nothing like me. I'm so bullish on this that I've told my thumbnail designer to never use AI on them, especially when it comes to images of me or my brand assets like my hat. But maybe that doesn't matter to get the click. I mean, it seems to me creating YouTube thumbnails is closer to a science than an art. There are countless tools that will evaluate a thumbnail and score it based on how clickable it is. If all we're trying to do is appease an algorithm, then what's wrong with using a computer program to do it? But the thing is, we're not, right? We're trying to convince human beings to think our video is worth watching. And some AI thumbnails are simply god-awful. I mean, I will link this in the show notes, but if you're watching the video, look at this one. The most generous opinion I could muster of this is that it's a convincing projection of what I might look like in 10 to 15 years, which is very similar to my dad. But the dead eyes absolutely kill me. And to me, this does not look like me so much that I don't want to use it on my channel. But again, does it matter? I know it doesn't look exactly like me, but it is close enough. And if it convinces people to click, then it's done the job, right? I mean, if you look at Mr. Beast's thumbnails, they look like a super weird version of him, but all of this thumbnail optimization and the type of thumbnails we create is because of him. I'm still unsure. I'm experimenting with them. I am using them on my channel. I'm usually A/B testing them against what my thumbnail designer creates, and I'm not getting enough hits to have anything conclusive. But while I believe in strong opinions loosely held, I might be holding on to this one a little tighter. I'd love to know what you think about this. Let me know at streamlinedfeedback.com. You can write in or you can leave a voice note. If you leave a voice note, I might play it on the show, unless you ask me to keep it anonymous. So that's what's on my mind for this week. Let's move over to recommended reading, which is another thing about AI. It is called Superintelligence is a Dragon. I suspect you may have seen this. Basically, everybody I know who's doing curation this week has mentioned this. Over on Platformer, Casey Newton has a great article about Mark Zuckerberg's AI manifesto. And I do want to give a shout out to my friend and listener, Liz, for sending this to me. The truth is, anything that references Game of Thrones is good in my book. But the analogy between dragons and AI, or dragons and superintelligence, that Newton makes is salient and very clever. I'm not going to spoil any more of it. I strongly recommend you read this. He's also uniquely positioned to make the points he does as a trustworthy independent journalist and someone close to the tech industry. I tend to default to what's the ulterior motive of this billionaire, and it's nice that Newton is informed enough to state it so plainly. So I will have that as a link in the show notes along with everything I'm talking about as usual, but I strongly recommend you read this. I'm a subscriber. I'm not a paid subscriber. I'm very close though, but I am subscribed to Platformer now. And I've admired Casey Newton's work for a while. Now, moving to the exact opposite of AI, something fun is Apple TV's show Schmigadoon. I finished this far too short series, Schmigadoon, earlier this week, and I thought it was delightful. I'm also a couple of years late to the party. It's 2 seasons, 6 episodes long. Each season is about the length of a musical, right? So each season is 6 episodes, 12 episodes total. And it's fun and catchy and a testament to great talent. It was also a really good palate cleanser after House of the Dragon wrapped up. The worst part about the show is that it didn't get renewed for season 3, which I read they had like 25 songs written and they were going to focus on musicals of the 80s and 90s, like Les Mis, which I love Les Mis, so I really would have loved this. If you like musicals, satire, and yelling, hey, that person's in this? This is a perfect show for you. It's available on Apple TV. Okay, so something to help you with your systems. This is formerly called Automation of the Week, but I'm deciding to expand the scope of it. This week's something to help your systems is call debriefing. I have a Claude skill called Daily Call Debrief, and it does a few things. It runs daily, and it gathers any calls I had recorded in Google Meet or Fathom. It summarizes the calls and adds those summaries to Obsidian. It adds my action items to Todoist, which surfaces them in my task manager, something I check every day. And something I added this week is it adds coaching calls and discovery calls, the transcripts. It takes them and adds them to my voice of customer folder so I can pull from them when I'm working on marketing copy or positioning or anything like that. AI call recorders is one of the great use cases for AI, in my opinion, because they are recording the call. They can crunch data or allows you to crunch data, and they do a bunch of stuff with that data, or you can do a bunch of stuff with that data. And since you were on the call and present, presumably, you have already consumed the primary source, and you're not just relying on the summary for important details. One thing I like to have AI do as well, something I got from Christian, who was a guest on this podcast back when I had guests, is have it come up with questions based on the calls. And here's the exact prompt Christian gives listeners. I will put this in the show notes in the description as well. It goes like this. I want you to pose to me 3 extremely precise, very hard-hitting questions, all of which are independent and have different coverage, that if sufficiently answered, would yield some kind of transformative, genuinely novel, impactful insight. The thing that I added was, please make reference to the primary source material where appropriate in the context of the question, because I don't trust AI. And I actually ran this morning as I was putting the show together, and it asked me a question that was so accurate, it physically hurt me. So, big fan of this. If you are thinking about your systems and you don't know where to start, I have a really simple 8-question quiz. It should take 60 seconds to help you figure out where to start and exactly how to start. You can find that over at streamlined.fm/quiz. But that's it for this episode of the Friday Wrap-Up. Thanks so much for listening. And until next time, I hope you find some space in your weekend.